These are the three devastating mistakes I've made in 2024. I'm not the one who is normally a negative Nancy or anything like that, but there's been a lot of good things in 2024, and there's been a lot of bad things that happened in 2024. And I think just me just saying this out loud, even just for myself, just to talk about what those mistakes are so that I can effectively learn from them. And I think that's the best thing I can do, and also what anyone else can do. And so, just gonna be open. And so, kind of just jumping straight into things. I mean, one of the main mistakes that I know I've made is really changing myself to kind of please over other people. And it sucked. It really did. And there was honestly a season of my life where I think it was about the last 6 months of 2024 where hanging out with a new group of people. And I'm normally a person who's pretty ambitious, likes doing different things. I get up at 5 in the morning and doing all these different things like that. And kind of being productive while these people necessarily weren't, but they were nice people to hang around with, and I just found myself stuck in that circle at that time. And in all honesty, I wanted to relate to them. I really did. And but the things that I wanted to relate to them with were, you know, nothing bad things, but just like playing video games, kind of being lazy, staying up really late, and all those different things. And while I do have a vision for my own life and I know where God wants me to be, I let myself conform to that. I started doing those behaviors in the same exact way that they've kind of done it as well. And it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. Because I knew at the end of every single day, while I was doing kind of the same habits as these other people were, I felt dead inside, for lack of a better term, really. And it just wasn't good. It really wasn't. And I would say that's a very big mistake because, first of all, I'm not even being true to who I am, who I know I am, which is a person who wants to be productive, who wants to be significant in their life. And I was conforming my life to be less significant for these people, right? To kind of please them at the end of the day. And now I've come to the realization that I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, obviously. And I'm glad I finally come to this point of realization, and it's a little bit too late, but geez, it was annoying. But I mean, the main thing that I kind of learned from that is when it comes to all those things that like are very easy to do. Like for me, I work a sales job. So in between sales calls, I would watch a lot of YouTube just to spend my time being entertained and everything like that. And then same thing when it comes to playing video games and everything like that. And then just not really using my time effectively, just feeding myself with extra dopamine whenever I can. At the end of the day, it's so easy. It feels good at the time, but it left me so dead inside. Like to the point where I was just like, what's going on? Like what am I doing with my life? Like why am I even here? And I don't think I'm the only one who's experienced this before, but I mean that was just kind of like the real, I guess, feel like a truck hit me in the head whenever that was happening. And I was like, this is not okay. Like I can't keep doing this anymore. And I, just going straight into it, then just the main thing that I learned from at least that experience was really just the easy things aren't always the right things. They're not. The easy things, I could just look at YouTube. I could just do all of these things that are very, very easy to do. Go back into my old addictions, go back into my old habits, which are very easy to do. But that doesn't make it right. Just because it feels good, feelings aren't always correct. And feelings always fade. They always do. They're there for 1 minute, and then the next, probably for a lot longer, you're left with the residue of what you just did. And especially if you got a vision of where you want to be and you have ambitions, you can't just keep doing the easy things. I can't just keep doing the easy things. Because if I just keep doing the easy things, then guess what? I won't actually be able to do the things I know I want to do and the things I know God has even called me to do at that point. And that actually leads me to the second thing, which really goes hand in hand with this. is that ultimately I lowered my standards for myself and even for other people of what I expected from other people, even the ones who are very close to me at the end of the day. Because, in all honesty, like I lowered my standards, which meant for me, before getting up early in the morning, while it's something so simple, it was very important to me because it gets me a head start on the day. I get to actually put my God as a priority during the day. And also, I get time to actually be able to do things that I want to do. Like before, it was YouTube. And I know I haven't uploaded it in freaking forever. And everything else like that. But then I started to wane on that. I was like, oh, I could just sleep in a little bit more because I valued sleep a little bit more. Or I could go to the gym later, or I could do other things later, right? Just pushing it all off. And I lowered my standards. And then even with other people of how they were treating me, like whether it was rude, I would kind of turn a blind side because I was just like, oh no, like, I would accept their excuses for things that blatantly were not right, but I accepted them and I allowed it to continue to happen. And that's terrible. It really, really is. Because I mean, if I wanted, like, the reason why I have such high standards, even for myself, even when it just comes for the freaking morning, is literally just so that I can be the best version for myself and for the person that I know God wants me to be, so that I can have the future that I know He's called me to be, which is not average. And the thing is, when I lowered those standards, that's part of the why I felt like dead inside, because I knew I wasn't living on purpose at that point. And then this actually brings me to the third thing, which is all of it really ties together in something I've learned even just at the beginning of this year from like a really big point of realization, because people close to my life just like told me what's really going on, like helped me kind of like put the pieces all together. I felt like scales were falling off my eyes when I realized this. And it was just that I just didn't have self worth. I didn't see myself as worthy. I lowered it a lot. And I accepted all the crap that people were kind of bringing onto me. People that I loved, right? That they didn't notice it was crap, but like for me and my standards, it would have been. And I always thought of myself as the person to be like, you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth no matter what. Da, 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 da. Because like I used to be that kind of person. But this year and even probably years past, I've slowly gotten less and less of that. Like just for the sake of their feelings, whoever they were be, I would just stay silent and take it in, even though it was not okay whatsoever. And I would just take it because I would think it'd be okay. And it wasn't. And just me personally, from what I learned from there, is just like, at least with my personal relationship with God and everything, I know God has called me to a lot higher place, and He values me more than what I was valuing myself at. Because in honesty, I shouldn't be taking all this crap. I shouldn't be taking all the disrespect. I shouldn't. And I should have spoken up. But for the sake of another person's feelings, I didn't say anything. First of all, that's just selfish on my part. And then also, it wasn't true to myself because I felt like something was off during all of the year, but I didn't say anything. I didn't speak up. I didn't do anything. And whenever I would say, encourage this person or tell them I'm with them, like there'd be always a part of me that was saying, no, like that's not true because I'm not okay with this, but I didn't address it. And I mean, the big thing from there really is just that I need to be honest, not just with myself, but with every other person all the time. And whenever I at least get that kind of intuition in my belly or whatever, and I'm just like, this just doesn't feel right. I need to air it out. I need to. Even though if I can't put words to it right then and there, I need to let these people know, the people that I love who want to treat me well, like, hey, what happened? I don't like it. I don't know what specifically like it. I'll give you more information, but I'm just telling you what just happened rubbed me the wrong way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not crazy for saying that. In fact, I'm being considerate telling them because I'm just like, hey, I love you enough to tell you the truth. And in all honesty, I didn't even love myself enough to tell the truth to me. And I didn't love these other people enough to tell them the truth. And side note, I've just came to a point of realization where this has been actively affecting my entire life, even work. Because again, I work a sales job. And with all these different people that I'm talking to, a lot of them can come to me with blatant bullcrap. Like they're in a super terrible of a situation, right? And they're giving me like these one-off excuses that like, it's actually valid. But in my head, I'm like, that's not true. Like you need to break this paradigm that's going on in your head right now. The way you've been making decisions has not been working for you. And I would see this in my own head, but I wouldn't have the strength to actually say it out loud. And that affected me because at the end of the day, I wasn't helping these people because I didn't give them the clarity that like, hey, you and they think they can do it themselves, but they've been doing it themselves for I don't even know how many years at that point, and yet they've gotten to the place like I do financial help with financial coaching, and so they got themselves into like $90,000 in credit card debt, and then they think off of one conversation they could probably do it themselves. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! You got yourself in this whole situation because of the decisions you made, and yet because I wasn't honest with them. I let them leave those conversations thinking that they could do it all by themselves, having a false confidence. And to me, that was a huge disservice when I came to realize that. And even now, just with my own personal life and with the people I love, it's a huge disservice if I'm not honest with them. And that's something I would say to you for whoever's watching. It's a huge disservice to the people you love if you're not honest with them about the things that you don't like and the boundaries that you need to set. Because a lot of times they don't notice when you're uncomfortable. They don't notice when things have bothered you or like things have really ruptured you, especially if you don't say anything. Because if you don't say anything, guess what? If you don't change, nothing will change. If nothing changes, then nothing will change. Time won't solve it. It's the actions that you have to do. And it's scary. It is. Oh my gosh. And it is so scary and it's hard. But the thing is like, again, the easy things are not always the right things to do. And a lot of times the hard things are the things that we need to do for the sake of our own mental health, for the sake of our relationships, and for the sake of whatever journey you want to go on. And so I haven't uploaded in a minute, but I know I should have uploaded this a lot sooner. And these are the mistakes that I've made. And these are also the lessons I've learned. And I'm going to make sure I actually learn from these lessons and take different action this year. And I'm already doing that. And I hope you do too. And whatever mistakes or whatever things that you've learned from this past year. Because I know it was a wild one. But I hope the best for every single one of you.